Fillmore Central ended up with a 37-6 win over United South Central on Saturday last week. To recap that game, here is head coach Chris Mensink. And coach, you scored touchdowns on three of your forced four possessions. Overall, you had eight possessions in the game, and you found the end zone five times. Looked like a pretty decent offensive efficiency night for you. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, yeah, very fair assessment. That was our intention and our goal of the game was to get a fast start and make them chase us kind of with their offense. More of a clock control type of offense, a straight T, 3, 4 yards. They like to kind of keep the ball in their hands, and you saw that in their first drive. It was a 17 play drive that took a lot, 8 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock. So if you look at time of possession for the game, they had over 31 minutes of ball, and we had, about half of that. So definitely that's their intention. But on the flip side of that, we thought if we could get a few points on the board and make the clock kind of their enemy, that would be beneficial for us, and that's kind of the way it worked out.
And both offensive, I should say, passing wise and rushing wise, good nights of football, 202 yards passing, as well as 186 yards rushing. A very balanced night for you. What do you credit that to?
Yeah, I think that's just a credit to how they were playing us again. I thought our offensive line again did a great job of opening some holes, and Kane and our backs Quincy and Cody, those guys ran the ball hard. We were able to get the edge a couple times, and Kane gets those hard yards up the middle. So that opens up, and they put more guys in the box. We get some single man coverage, and our quarterback delivered the ball nicely, very efficient again. And our receivers made some nice catches for him. So yeah, definitely great balance there, and took what the defense gave us.
How has Brighton Ball progressed as a quarterback through the first half of the season?
Yeah, I think Bryden has been very patient. I think that's been a big deal for Bryden. Last year, we were kind of more of a passing home run team that we'd be able to throw the ball a little bit more, and the pass set up the run. This year, it's we like to run the ball a little bit more, and just kind of pick and choose our spots to throw it, and he's taken advantage fully of those opportunities and putting it right on our receivers. His accuracy has been spot on all season long. So his completion percentage, and that's kind of what we told him. That's you're going to have guys, and maybe they'll be a little bit more open. You don't have to throw them open, and that's kind of been the case. But there again, a couple times our receivers have made some nice plays and gone up and got the ball for him as well. So very happy with that patience that Bryden is displaying.
How do you instill a patience in a quarterback? Because everyone wants to see those big plays. They feel sometimes pressure to make those big plays, but sometimes you got to let the game come to you. How do you instill that in a youngster?
Yeah, I think, Bryden with all that experience last year, and he had a lot of success throwing it. I think it's just constant reminders and things like that. And our offensive coordinator picking those spots like, hey, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, letting him know, this is what we're seeing, and just helping him see the game from that perspective has been good. But Bryden understands that, and Bryden wants to do what's best for the team first.
And when you look at, you mentioned United South Central, they had more plays than you, more time of possessions, but you were able to seemingly limit those big plays on defense. How were you able to do that? And how do you make sure that those 17 play drives, as long as you're not giving up chunks of 15, 20, 25 yards, oftentimes high school teams are going to make a mistake when it comes to those drives.
That's it. That's exactly what we told the kids after that first drive. Hey, the 17 plays, they didn't come away with any points. They burned a bunch of that clock up. So here we go again. We got to remind them we need to score now again, put another one on the board and extend that lead. Because as you gain more points, right, it's that clock becomes more of an enemy. So I think our kids really bought into that all week. We stressed it all week, and they executed it to a T that evening.
And you've done a pretty good job of becoming a road warriors through the first half of the season. How nice is it going to be? I know you're focused fully on Hayfield this Friday night, but three of your final four games are at home. That's got to be a pretty good feeling, knowing the fact that you've had some pretty good road trips through the first half of the season.
Yeah, we've put a lot of miles on and spent a lot of time on that bus. So to see our kids execute the way they have and come through on those nights, that's been very rewarding. Nice to be at home. Like you say, it's homecoming this week, so that's always a coach's worst nightmare, right? And keeping the kids focused with all the activities and things going on this week. But we'll have a good week of preparation, a good week of practice. I have confidence in our kids; they'll be ready on Friday.
And Hayfield comes to town trying to spoil your homecoming. What do you expect out of the Vikings?
Boy, Hayfield is, you watch them on film and they're very similar. They're kind of a mirror image of us. They run a lot of the same things. So as far as prep goes this week, I think our kids have worked a lot against some of those things. So we'll have to touch up those things and continue to work this week to get better.
And when you're facing a team similar to you, you mentioned the positives of that. Is there any challenges to that?
Well, I think just keeping the kids focused, right? It's they've done so much of it and just right. So keeping the focus on what it is as at hand and their personnel specifically. What does this person do well? What does that person do well? They've got a lot of size up front as well, so they're going to match up well up front. And we remember that from last year. They bring a lot of those kids back and their running back runs hard. He was athlete of the week that first week. Put a lot of yards on the board. So we're going to have to do fundamental football again and tackle well and be able to cover the entire field.
Well, hopefully those little things will lead to big things come Friday night, and hopefully you can keep this positivity going, Coach. We wish you best of luck. Of course, keep your kids healthy. We wish you best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Darren. Appreciate it.
Chris Mensink, head coach of the Fillmore Central Falcons, homecoming this week against Hayfield.